Welcome back to Chow Time Pods. Your host, Ray. I got a video from AntonDaniels. I saw the title of this and it's just ridiculous.
Ex is a fantastic guy, and I'm talking about my most recent ex. Okay, you weirdo. I know you watch all of my videos and stalk my page all the time. Not you. He was high EQ, low ego, very loving, very thoughtful, very willing to work on the things that he needed to work on in order to be a better boyfriend. We had one heated discussion where it was the very first time that I realized he might not be that different from all the other men that I thought he was. This wasn't the ultimate reason why I broke up with him, but it was almost like the tip of the iceberg of when things started to unravel and I started to see him a little bit more clearly. He's still a fantastic guy though. He's better than 99% of the men out there. And I know this is gonna ruffle some feathers, but we were talking about our future and how many kids we wanted to have, and we both agreed that we wanted two. And I said the jump from having one kid to two kids is actually the most disruptive on our life as a family.
No, the first kid is the most disruptive. The second, third kids, and afterwards you're already in the kid mode. You already have kids going. Kids start taking care of each other and start doing things together. It's actually fucking easier. You've done no research on this, you fucking idiot.
And he was like, what do you mean?
If he was so great and he was better than 99% of all men, then how come you didn't get married to him?
Correct.
Having
It's crazy.
0 to 1.
What do we say? It's just not enough. It is ridiculous that these standards that these women have. He's better than 99% of all. So he's a top 1%er in your head. You still want better.
Is the most disruptive. And I was like, no, having 1 to 2 is the most disruptive. And here's why. At this point, we have shared with each other all of our financial details, like how much investments we have, properties, stock investments, 401k, like how much we make, how much we're projected to make. Like our finances was very...
That's kind of crazy to be talking about future projections and everything like that. I mean, it's a good thing to talk about it, I guess, but...
very, very clear to each other. And I made kind of a budget on how much life was going to look like with one kid versus two kids. The biggest difference in our budget between having one kid versus having two kids is whether or not I would continue to be working my 9 to 5. So if we had one kid, I would definitely be working my 9 to 5 because I want to be working as long as possible. And I could talk about how it's important for a woman to have her own career, to make her own money, so she's not...
Again, Asian women really ate up the propaganda of feminism and because Asian women were very adjacent to white women. They were pretty affluent, they were pretty well off overall because Asians worked really hard to be well off, right? And so the privileges that feminism really gave did cascade down to a lot of white women and slightly to Asian women because Asian women were very academic, very high achievers also.
Not relying on a man, blah, 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 but that's a topic for another day. And I'm pretty confident that I can balance being a mother and my 9 to 5 if it's just one child. Because the fact is he makes more than me and hopefully over time will be making significantly more than me. So it made a lot more sense for me to be the primary caregiver of our children. I would be the one to take on the mental load of that in addition to all the mental load of our entire household.
Love it. Love how she loves to put this mental load out of nowhere. You don't think he has mental load to take care of the kids and all these other things too? You yourself is a mental load to him.
However, if we had two kids, I no longer feel that I can be the best version of myself and show up as the best mother I can be and work my 9 to 5 and kill it.
She really thinks she can have it all. This is the epitome right here of... Is it epitome? I think I used the word wrong. But this is the prime example of women thinking they can have it all. I can have my career, I can have my kids, I can have my husband, and still get everything perfectly aligned properly. No, this is never going to happen for almost any women.
Now,
so what she's basically leaning towards, and the whole point of this video, and I'm going to get to the rest of it shortly, is she's basically saying that she deserves to be paid, or they need to have a conversation as her getting paid once she quits her job for being a stay-at-home mother. And this is a conversation that is starting to proliferate across social media altogether. And I think that it's a conversation worth having. And so, in order for us to have this conversation, the first thing that we have to do is we have to compare it to the past, right? Because in the past, which is why we're here anyway, in the past, a stay-at-home mother was considered something that women celebrated, right?
Correct.
Women never ever, until recently, started to hold stay-at-home mothers accountable, trad wives, women that did, traditional household duties while the man went out and went and got resources and then paid for everything. And then ultimately, the reason why it worked in the past is because nobody looked at it as separate. When you get married,
You're
you
together.
become one, which kind of speaks to what she's talking about, right? Because everything that she locks down, everything that she has a conversation about, going through and all of this other stuff that she was doing, it's all this busybody work for somebody that she wound up not actually getting into a relationship with or marrying anyway. And I can actually see why a guy would walk away from a woman that seems this manic. But everything that she said, nothing that she talked about was actually something of them becoming one. And this is why women say that I need a partner. They don't say that I need a husband. They say that I need a partner because they do not look at themselves as one. And I understand that this is more of a Christian.
Well, you're just the footstool assistant that helps them with their life. Oh, that shoots out money too. So a footstool ATM.
Mindset. This is more of something, that we lean into in the spirituality. But marriage is not singular to just Christians or people that worship God or worship Jesus, right?
This is so true. Again, Asians believe in marriage too, but it's not really a religious thing for us. It's more of just a covenant of coming together and creating family. That was how we've seen things, how I've always seen things in life. And then as I got older, learned a little bit more about Christianity and other religions, I was like, oh, I see. It's a little bit different for them because it's very based into their religion, where us, it's not based into our religion like that.
And so what happens is we have a lot of people that are now starting to redefine what they think marriage is supposed to look like. And they are talking about all of this other stuff. And they're forgetting one factor is that you guys are one. You are one. He has a purpose. You have a purpose. Obviously, we know that gender roles in most places, in most spaces, in most relationships do and are supposed to play a role, but nobody is including that in the conversation. So she looks at herself as separate. She goes into this thinking to herself, well, I believe that I am supposed to get paid for being a stay-at-home mother because I am going to be short on resources in the case of anything happening between us. But I thought that was why you then start to get a prenuptial agreement.
Yeah, that's also why marriage laws are the way they are. That's why you're able to get half. I hate that women really are just drank the Kool-Aid. Like, oh, I don't want to get married to him. He's going to leave me. And I'm like, just going to be destitute. When has that ever really happened? Most women get some kind of resources, some kind of money from a divorce. There's rare cases that women get none unless, it's adultery or, no fault states or whatever, but most women walk away with stuff. That's how the laws were set up to protect women from that happening. But women still think that happens every single day.
Because a prenuptial agreement is not there to just protect you. It's also there to protect the other person.
Correct.
Let's hear the rest of what she has to say, and then I'm going to give you my thoughts.
I'm not saying that women cannot do that. I don't want to be working a crazy 9 to 5 and then taking care of 2 kids and taking care of the household. Having 2 kids is a luxury. I would love to have 2 kids, but if there are some financial constraints and I'm not able to not work my...
Translation, if I can't live the same lifestyle of the high-end lifestyle that I have with 2 kids, I don't fucking want them.
9 to 5, I don't think we should have the second kid. That way I can still be working, you still working, and we can maintain our standard of living. And when I say standard of living, I have a pretty high standard of living because...
Of course you do.
I'm a bougie girl. I grew up extremely comfortably. I am a little bit spoiled.
What did I say? Asian women are very adjacent to white women because There was a lot of affluent Asian families out there that did well
and taken care of in that way. And I do expect that to continue for the rest of my life. Like, why would I want to suffer? You know what I mean? This part of our conversation is key. I said that if I'm no longer working, then in addition to expecting that he will pick up all of the bills of our household, he also will need to pay me an annual salary, like on a monthly basis, so that I have my own money in order to like put away to take care of myself and put into my retirement, whatever. And he was like, well, you can use my credit card. And I was like, no, I'm definitely using your credit card for day to day, but I also need an income for like.
That's crazy. Everything is paid for. You get the credit card, but you still need money in your bank account to what? So you can leave this man later?
The job that I'm going to be doing as a stay-at-home mom. Because like stay-at-home mom is not free, right? If you were to hire a cleaner, a cook, a nanny, these separately would.
See, these women are fucking idiots. College educated idiots. The person isn't cooking 24 hours. It's not a full cooking job. It's not a full cleaning job. It's not a full nanny job. They work maybe a few hours a day, maybe a few hours a week. What are you talking about? These are not full salary jobs that people, there's not a person in your house that is constantly cooking. There's not a person in your house constantly cleaning. That doesn't work that way.
Costs you money on an annual basis. So just because I'm doing it doesn't mean that you don't have to pay me. The reason for that is right now, obviously we're in love and things are good. But
I don't know about that one.
Something were to happen in the future and we're no longer in love and we're going through a rough patch and we're getting a divorce. I would be so fucked. I'm giving up the momentum of my career. I am giving up my earning potential. And all of a sudden, let's say.
This is why we say you don't want to marry career-oriented women. Look at what she's saying. This is how they think. This is their thought process. Why would they give up their careers? And if they were to give up their careers, you better subsidize that salary.
Like 10, 20, 30 years down the line, and I suddenly want to come back and get a job, like it's not going to be that easy. My salary is going to be very significantly impacted, right? And he doesn't understand that. He does not understand why I'm so worried about quitting my job. This part of the discussion is where a lot of women get frustrated because not only do we want our labor to be recognized, but we also want to protect ourselves. And this is from me seeing a lot of women, not naming names, in my life that have been unable to leave their partner because they don't have the financial capabilities to do so. And I never want to be in that position. Yeah, that was a kind of moment of realization where I'm like, wow, I am not going to kind of take a risk on myself just to build you up if you're not going to take care of me and like fully appreciate the sacrifices that I'm going to be making for our family and compensate me adequately for it. I do think that overall,
it's like she sounds like she's talking about the family and him, but all of it is just me.
all women need to be a little bit smarter when it comes to what it means to be retired by their significant other, because it's not just as simple as like him taking you out of the workforce. He needs to also make sure that you are financially taken care of when you're retired, or God forbid something happens to you guys, he passes away early.
Yeah, that's what life insurance and all these other things that I put in place for, you fucking idiots. Women have no clue how much men think about them and how much men think about the future and make sure that they're protected. Yes, there are some men that don't, but the men's of means, the men's that make good money, they think about these things. Trust me, I know a lot of them. They come to me to ask about investments and to get life insurance and the things so I can set up their trust and things properly. I don't fully set up the trust. I get them a lawyer to set up the trust for them. I don't do all that. I just, I facilitate that. But I do help them get life insurance and things like that, because most of these men know they're gonna die. They're guaranteed gonna die. Might as well leave massive amounts of money for their family when they do.
Or you guys fall out of love with each other, like you need a contingency plan. All right, bye.
I remember years ago, there used to be this big conversation about prenuptial agreements. And women wouldn't sign the prenuptial agreement because
they thought they'd get nothing.
They said that if you love me, then I wouldn't have to sign it, because that means that you're already anticipating us breaking up. Fast forward, now we're having a
Now women want salaries for the exact same reason.
conversation about a woman that wants precautions and security. Let's just keep it light and say security from men, and that in the case that they decide to marry them and become a stay-at-home mother,
This is like a reverse prenup.
which I think that you staying at home with your children is the blessing in itself. But for the sake of conversation, get married, become a stay-at-home mother. You also have to provide her with the contingency plan just in case she leaves you, or just in case
Yeah, you actually have to give her a contingency plan, which is ridiculous.
y'all get divorced, right? And I think that all of this is just an excuse. All of this is an opportunity for women to manipulate the conversation, to change it into something that it's not, in order to justify the fact that they want to basically live the soft life and get paid to do so.
Yep.
Now, what I would suggest to most guys, and I think that I'm going to pose this as a question on After Hours, is to find a person that more closely aligns with you, but at the same time, do not anticipate, and take your vows seriously, but do not anticipate getting divorced. And in the event that you get a divorce, that is what a prenuptial agreement is for, to ensure that everybody is okay and to make sure that your children are taken care of in the future.
Yeah, most men aren't deadbeats. If you have children with him, he's gonna take care of those children, unless you're just a miserable sack of shit that's gonna take his children away and make his life miserable. And even then, he's still gonna fight for his children, most likely, because most men want their children. Their children are just as important to them as most women's feel about their children, right? Because it's literally a part of us. Like, yes, maybe it didn't grow in us, but he's literally a part of us. I don't know. Just women just don't see us as human beings or something. Once our seed leaves us, it's just their kid now. Like we had nothing to do with it. Please like, subscribe, comment down below. I really appreciate that. And catch you guys next time. Ciao.